Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DEGA Spaces podcast. It's your host, Carlos Rene, and I'm here joined by Faizan. We got a pretty exciting episode for you today. We're going to be discussing the journey of going from classic game development and joining now the Web3 wave of technology. So, Faizan, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Carlos. Nice having over here.
Awesome. Could you, before we jump into the action, could you do a intro of yourself and your company?
Well, yeah, I'm Faizan Iftikhar, full name, and the company I've been working for is called Team Solutions, and I've been attached with them for the last 10 to 12 years or so. We have solely focused on mobile games since the start, and our initial project was actually something that we took inspiration from what Zinga did for web. So our philosophy back then was that whatever works on a web will work on mobile as well. So what Zynga did, the Mafia Wars game, they did over there on web, on Facebook. We thought that let's do something similar to that and bring it onto mobile. And we started off with Android actually, and we got great results over there. The game responded well. People really liked it. It ranked up the charts back then. I mean, yeah, we there were like very few games back then in 2010, but still we got like the number one spot for our paid version. So that's how all the journey began. And from that point on, we just started looking for wherever we could get lemon so that we could make lemonades. And yeah, from there we made a few more RPGs, text-based RPGs in particular. I mean, apart from the gang wars one, we did a fashion wars. We did a racing one. We did a like a war themed RPG as well, and did a fantasy one as well. And from that point on, we moved on to doing some casual games. And yeah, that was another niche. That was another area, I would say, that we tapped into in gaming as well. And it did well as well at that time, because I think we had this first mover advantage back then. So that also did well. And then we kept on building and building and building and building until we start getting downloads regularly on our every other game that would come. So once we started getting like million, 5 million, 10 million downloads per game, the next challenge was how can we make them stick around? Because yes, we were getting downloads, we were getting traction, but the drawback that we were encountering was people didn't stay. They would stay in for a day or two at max, and then they would leave the game. So our next burning challenge was how to make sure that people stick in our game, they keep playing again and again. How can we give them some immersive features that they love, that they can get connected with, and that is specifically for mobile game players, because uh, console gamers, PC gamers, they have one sort of chemistry of playing a game. But if you talk about mobile gamers, that's a completely different ball game. I mean, when you're playing a console game or a PC game, you get done with everything that you have for the day. You close your doors. You ask people, "Do not disturb me." You enter into your man cave or whatever cave it is. It is, and you play like 6, 7, 8 hours of solid gameplay in that. I still do that. I'm guilty. But for mobile gamers, uh, it's everywhere actually. I mean, when they're in the bus, when they're in the class, when they're in their offices, or even when they're in their washroom, they would open up their phone and see what can they do in this time that they are doing nothing with their hands. So this is the challenge we had to come up with, and we started working on retention and all the engagement features for games back like 6 years ago. And we started deeply looking at analytics of how what the KPIs are, what the retentions are, what the DAU is, what is the session time. So eventually, looking at it again and again and again, we finally made a few games that started giving us traction. And there were many, but one I would like to highlight is Scary Teacher. That did really well. So initially we started off with a small game. We did it like for 3 or 4. We did it in like 3 or 4 weeks initially, because we had this mentality of testing things first and then expanding them. So the tests were really good in the first 3-4 weeks, and from that point on we started building the game. And then eventually, while building the game and kept on updating it, the game got viral. Big YouTube influencers got eye on it. They started making videos on it. That further multiplied the growth of it, and then there was hype all of a sudden for the whole game. And after that, Scary Teacher has never looked back. And as we speak right now, the game has about 250 million downloads. But yeah, the other thing that we are more proud of is the fact that 1 million people play the game on daily basis. So this is something that we wanted to try and strive for, and yes, we got that. So yeah, here we are.
Great. Thank you. So, yeah, there's 2 points that stuck with me there. The first one, can you tell us a little bit more for because some of our audience are Generation C, right? And even though they might have heard about, the games from Zynga, they didn't like go through that wave, right? That was something like more than millennials and Generation X went through. So, could you elaborate first? When you said what Zynga did for Facebook, you wanted to do for mobile, right? So could you tell us a little bit more? What is that? What did Zynga do that you wanted to do for mobile?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I tell Gen Z about that, I mean they might get faint or get offended that that is a game that you used to make or play back then. I guess because of mobile constraints back then, and also the webs. I mean, there was no HTML5 back then. It was just plain Flash games that you would make. So the idea was to keep the games light. So basically, what that would be, it would be some sort of a text-based adventure. I mean, if this audience has played text-based games like choices games that come on Facebook right now, they're very graphic. They have the graphics are pretty cool. But back then it used to be just text, and then you would have to do things. For example, if I talk about Gang Wars that we did, or Mafia Wars that I talk about, in that game, when the user would enter that game, they would just see like 16 buttons on top of the screen, and there would be four main buttons on the top. One would be jobs, the other one would be properties, the third one would be fights, and the fourth one would be like news and updates. The jobs is basically whatever tasks you do. For example, if it is a racing game, then the first task would be like go to the garage. That's one task. Then there will be another task called buy a car. Then there will be tasks that upgrade your car. Then there will be like another task of do a race, do a practice race, and so on. So different sort of activities that a racer, a gangster, a fashion diva, a soldier would do in real life, we would gamify it in a textual way, where they would see everything in sort of a text format, and they would just do click on them and earn XP, earn rewards, and with that they would level up. And with leveling up, new features would unlock, like the properties. They can buy properties. With buying properties, they would buy buildings on top of them and start earning more, getting more XP, and that's how the whole game loop goes.
And this is just text-based, right? What you're
Yes, completely
us about right
text-based.
now.
But I mean, after like couple of years time, when this model started working, then Stormweight was another big player that did the same thing, and they did pretty well. So what they did is that they added graphical images in these sort of games. The UI was very rich at that time. It became richer, I would say, as compared to the previous games. So they started adding pictures, they started adding a little bit of animations. So that was the next evolved stage of those text-based RPGs.
Okay, and when you took that to mobile, you also took it in a graphical way, or you kept it text-based?
Well, the first thing that we did was text-based. The buttons I was talking to you about, the 16 buttons, those were from our game. It's called Gang Wars. If you would search it, you might get some results on YouTube for it. The game is taken down now. It's been a while. I mean, now it has done its share, so it's in our legacy now. So, but if you get a chance to search for Gang Wars, you will see what I'm talking about. So, the game that I was talking about, The 16 buttons that was from our game, and it was all text based basically.
And that's what year?
I think it was 2010. Yeah.
Okay,
Long
okay.
time.
You've been on this adventure for some time then.
Yeah. Failing for the last 12 years.
No, I mean, I think that certainly shows in the success that you're having right now. As you mentioned, 1 million concurrent active users. That's probably more than all of the Web3 games and metaverses combined, right? They're still, when you actually go to, they have a lot of hype, they have a lot of market cap, but when you go to the actual analytics to see how many people are actually playing these games and metaverses, right now, it's pretty low, right? So, having said that, then if you guys are on a path to success, then and the Web3 industry is still maturing, what was about it that attracted you to join us, right? What did what did you see that made you want to turn your game into a Web3 based game?
Well, actually, lots of things. I mean, the initial idea was started in such a way that me and my partner were sitting one day, and we are in a common WhatsApp group of our local body over here. So over there, some elections were going on, and one of our candidates had a very like a sassy picture of his, and we were like making fun of it. And in that fun came the word NFT. So we were like, we were talking so much about this picture. Why don't we make an NFT and put it on OpenSea? We might get some money out of it, and we can fund our association with it. So that kind of joke came up. And from that point, me and my partner, we thought that, hey, what the hell is this NFT thing? Let's have a look at it. So one of the things, I mean, that we take pride on is we are always cutting edge. We want to explore new technological avenues. I mean, back in the day when we were working on Gang Wars, we were the first in our region who worked on Android. And after that, we were the first one to work on Unity. And then we were the first one to work on HTML5 accordingly. So, with as the time passes along, we are proud in this factor that we are tech savvy. We want to stay at the cutting edge and explore new technologies that are coming right now. So that was one of the motivations to come into Web3, the Metaverse, NFTs, and see what this is all about. The other reason was that, I mean, when we were making Scary Teacher, yes, we got good downloads, we got good number of players coming in, playing daily basis. But what we lacked because was that we were not able to make a community properly. And that's understandable, because when you're making a game in such a way that you're doing an iterative model, the focus is totally on the product and how you can improve it. And I guess a little bit of focus was lost in working on the community side. So coming to Web3 also gives us this advantage of having an automated community. It's sort of a given when you're making an NFT project. It is expected that you create a community and build around it. So we were trying to do this as well, that we wanted to always have a community of Scary Teacher where people can come in and discuss about the project, the character, the gameplay, the game design. So that also led us to like entering into this. And yeah, and I guess these were the reasons. And yeah, I mean, one more reason that I just remembered is that me myself, this is something that I am a big fan of. I've been gaming since my childhood days, and I really admire and appreciate the lads putting in their effort, their time, their energy in playing the games. So I always had a thought that why not reward them for putting this much effort? Because me coming from a conservative background where you are expected to be a doctor or an engineer, or otherwise you're a flop person, me coming into a gaming background, that was pretty tough for me actually. And there are lots of people in my community, in my region, who are going through this crisis as we speak right now. So why not give them an opportunity that if they play the game as well, they earn with it as well? Yes, there are esports right now over there, but to enter into that is like, yeah, it's very highly competitive. You have to be at the level of MVP, maybe for football or soccer or cricket, something like that. So it's very highly competitive. So Web3 gives you this advantage of acknowledging people, their efforts very quickly by when they spend their time, and then you can reward them instantly. So these were the three reasons that came as a premise, and then we opted to go into Web3.
For us in Latin America, is a doctor or a lawyer. That's
Yeah,
what they expect you to be.
yeah.
And
It's not so much the brown people, huh? We love doctors and engineers and lawyers.
it's something in the melanin, probably.
Yeah.
But well, it's something that right now in 2022, it's kind of easy to see that you have more options. But being fair to, like, let's say the previous generations, right? Like 30 years ago, it would have sounded crazy if you said, "Hey, I'm gonna make a living out of making games or playing games or anything like that." It is truly like transformational changes that we've gone through in the last few decades, thanks to the
Yeah,
internet,
I
thanks
agree.
to mobile.
And my father still says, I mean, he was contented last year that, okay, you're doing fine now. I'm happy with your career. I was like, thank you very much.
Finally, after 12 years. Nice. Well done. So, pretty interesting how you guys got into this. Basically, it started off as fun and games, and now you guys are rolling. I think that considering you've already built out a pretty large user base, I don't doubt that your project will be a success in the next stage. And having said that, you previously talked about the challenges you had as a game developer, but could you tell us a little bit more of what you see in Web3 as challenges, right? Because I'm sure there's quite a few. So what do you need to surpass to be successful with Web3 right now with the current state of things?
Well, it's a very good question, actually, that what the challenges are. And usually the challenge comes in NFT world or Web3 is that when you're taking the route of NFTs and you want to raise it, you want to use it as a means of investing your project. The people who are buying your NFTs, they have this burning question now that what is a utility that you're offering? I mean, if you go 1 year back, it was a completely different case. I mean, 1 year ago, there was a saying that used to go on is that if you have lost taste, then either you have COVID or you own an NFT. So that was used to say, I mean, it was so common buying NFTs and just selling your projects out that it was no brainer putting in there. But now people have, I guess, evolved. The market is getting matured. They want to see proper utility being offered. And yes, I mean, there are projects over there that are offering merchandise as a utility or something that is in real life. But actually the true essence of NFT coming in is to offer some utility that is decentralized and that is available on chain, actually. So coming from a gaming background, I guess all of us gamers have this a little advantage of coming in with a utility already, because we make games. All we have to do is wire it up with um, the blockchain that we will opt for. So yeah, that is one thing that it's easier for us. But the challenge that comes is that the market is full of people who are non-gamers. So convincing them, telling them what we are offering is some sort of a mountain climb for us, for anyone who's coming from a gaming background, because the question that they ask, exactly what you asked, Carlos, is that if you're doing so well in mobile world, why do you want to come into Web3? So it's a lot of convincing that you have to tell them, you have to keep on grinding, you have to show them the numbers, you have to show them what we'll be offering. And now it is expected that you show yourself. I mean, the term is doxed. So for the users who don't understand this term, is basically you have to be open and show to public who you are, your identity, uh, your profile, what is that. So this kind of challenge is coming right now, is that since the market is getting matured, people are getting more NFT aware. So when they're investing, they really want to know what value you're offering and what utility will they be having. And not only that, they want utility now. As soon as they buy the NFT, they should be getting something the next day, the next hour, the next minute.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the sentiment right now. It's a little bit of a sour taste due to the the issues that we have during the last hype cycle, right? And right now, as we were discussing, like you already probably have more active players than the entire Web3 metaverse combined. Or and what we talked about the challenges on a company level, but what are the challenges on an industry level for us to push Web3 to, like, say, a billion users?
Well, right now, I mean, it's hard to say right now because of the market slump that we have and the external factors that are there. I mean, inflation, recession, interest rates going crazy right now. So it's hard for people to come in right now and invest right now, to be honest, especially those who are traders. So what we can do right now in this year and the coming one is just put our head down, build an ecosystem, build a product, build a project, give them something, and when the market goes into bull run back again, then people are ready to do that because uh, reaching to the billion mark, it's just about that market sentiment getting up again. So once that happens, the people who are here right now, they just need to be ready. They need to be prepared for what's coming.
All right. All right. So basically, hype it up again.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And thank you for all that insight. And now getting to something that I was very excited to hear, which is what can we expect from Misty in the coming 6 months? What do you have in store for us?
Well, basically, I mean, if you're talking about the NFT part, right? The Web3 part only, right?
No, sure, sure. Oh, okay. So, can you clarify that a little bit for me then? Because I've seen Misty on the Twitter, but I think you said it was Angry Teacher that the game is called.
Scary teacher.
Scary Teacher. Okay. So we have Scary Teacher is the app then.
Yes, that's the app.
Okay, and Misty is the NFT collection per se.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first collection that we'll be offering. Yeah. So basically, I mean, like I said, I mean, we already have an established gaming studio, which made Scary Teacher. So that is another thing that we're working on, and that is the game is consistently having updates. We are making new games over there, new prank games. So that's going on. But I am looking more at the NFT part. So let me talk about that in more detail. As soon as the NFT sellout happens, after that we are planning to offer. We're still like in this. We are still like pondering over it. So either it's staking that we'll be offering right after the sellout, or we will be waiting for a week or two and going for the mini game that we'll be offering. So basically, the staking that we might offer is basically the concept, and the concept that it revolves around the teacher and the scariness of her. So since I mean the lore that we're setting up for staking is that since she's an evil person, Misty is an evil person. She is does not deserve to live or roam freely in the real world. So you have to cage her as soon as you buy her NFT. You have to cage her inside a cell or something like that where she is confined to herself only. And with that, the longer you confine her, you put her in the cage, the more you will earn. So this is the touch we are giving to staking. We are gamifying the staking part as well, where the more you put her inside the cell, the more you'll earn, the more the chances you have to earn. So that is the staking thing that we are doing. And about the mini game is basically it's something like a choices game. If you've played choice-based games on Facebook or HTML5, basically you see a scenario and then you select one or two options, either of the two options. So similar is the case over here for the game that we'll be offering. The mini game is something like Misty is doing some chores in her house. I also recently just posted a tweet on our Twitter account where we are showing that she is sleeping, and then you have to pick one of the two options. So Carlos, maybe you can go and pick one of the options, and you might win something as well. So yeah, we are doing right now the mini contest. So coming back to the point, so if you select the right option, you move. You are of course your answer is correct. But if you select the wrong option, game will be over. And with this basic concept, we are packaging it into a tournament where we will be offering 10 or 12 levels, some similar levels where Misty is doing different chores, and you have to select the right option. If you keep on selecting the right option for the next 12 levels, you will be on the top. And once the tournament ends, you will win. The person on the top will be winning Solana. And yeah, one more thing is that if you hold an NFT, only then you can play this game. So that's like a ticket to entry, and then that's how you earn.
And when you say you earn, is it your own in-game currency, or is it Solana, or what is it that you would earn?
Right now it's Solana. The mini game that we'll be offering, it will have Solana right now, but later on in at a later stage when we'll be making our own coin called Scary Coin, then of course they'll be earning that as well. If you play the game of ours, we will be giving them coins right now, but they won't be able to liquidate them, but they'll be earning them as we go along.
I see. Okay, so basically we have the staking feature and the minigame feature, and obviously the collection mint coming up.
And yeah, once that is done, the main thing that we'll be doing is that the upgrade of Scary Teacher 3D, where even if you can play the game, and even if you don't play the game, you will still be earning. How? 1 million people who are playing the game on daily basis, they will play the game as they are before. But the only difference will be that in every session, a randomly new MISST will show up, and that MISST will be one of the NFTs that are from our collection. Probably the 1/1 variants that we have 21 variants. So out of those 20, some of them will appear, and 1 million people will be playing them, and whoever owns that NFT or particular traits of that particular NFT, they will be earning proportionally from it.
Okay, that sounds cool. Okay, so yeah, that kind of fosters like long-term loyalty and support from the people buying the collection, right? Because now they basically become your top true fans in that sense, right?
Yeah. So that's the aim over here. So that even if they hold play, if they even don't play, by holding they get this advantage. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so that's what we can expect from MISST in the coming months. Now, going a little bit further down the road, could you tell us what do you see Web3 gaming evolving to in, let's say, 1 or 2 years?
Well, basically, in that time, I see Web3 being more of a metaverse-centric gaming. I mean, by metaverse, I don't mean putting on VR headsets and going into virtual reality. Something similar to Roblox, or something similar to Sandbox, or something equivalent to that. I mean, even if you're not like wearing those VR sets, but you're still into that virtual world where you are interacting with others, you're buying stuff inside it, you're maybe doing jobs inside the game, and you're doing tournaments over there. So this is what we see happening. I mean, once metaverse gets shaped in, big players come in, they put in their metaverses or the worlds that they're making, things get stitched up eventually, and then what happens is that the one NFT can go to another metaverse and vice versa. They can travel in between the metaverses. And also, I mean, apart from that, the other thing that I really see happening is what Fractal is doing, or what other support systems are doing. For example, if you want to like sell your NFT and buy something else from in other game, you can do that. You just trade it off, and with that particular money you can buy another character from the game. Because if you look at Web2 gaming, what happens is that if you're done with the game, you're done with the game. You can do nothing about it, despite even if you have spent like $10,000 in it. Once you play the game, it's done. So this is something I see happening in Web3 that really excites me, is that when I'm done, I can encash my assets from it, and I can invest in some other game actually. And not only that, one more thing that I see happening is that characters going across the games. I mean, one of my friends is making this project called Toastpunk, and they are planning a racer club. It's a metaverse, and they're already partnering with different NFT collections, and they can bring their characters inside that metaverse and play. So this is something that will be happening a lot. Harmony, interoperability, lots of online competitions, earning within the game happening, and a very thoughtful, immersive experiences.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely one of the, let's say, um, more direct routes that the game developers can take thanks to the openness of NFTs, right? It kind of becomes like the web. I can create an article, then you can link to it in your website, or you can take a snippet of it, and then we can all start kind of like sharing content across different websites and applications because we're using open and standardized protocols. So yeah, and also one of the things that you mentioned, right? I think it's something that a lot of people don't think about that much because most of us are used to like we stay in one game, one of the most popular games, and not everybody's like trying out different games. Like for example, we have Fortnite, we have Roblox. Those have been around for quite a while, but there's a whole bunch of games that a lot of people have played, right? And they even have millions of users, and they still like close down, right? Either because they lost popularity or because sometimes developers just want to work on something else. So when that happens, you got them shutting down servers, and you have somebody who invested maybe $10,000 and 2 years of efforts playing a game, and now because nobody else likes it or because the devs are bored, he just lost that, right? And he has no recourse, no ways to access that. And with Web3, we could do something that's pretty something that has been done in Web2 or in traditional gaming, which is mod creation, right? But now you can actually do a mod creation and target the actual real asset, right?
Exactly.
And do it like in a more powerful way in terms of monetization and network
Yes.
effects.
Yeah.
So I think that
Adding on to that, one more thing I forgot is that you can rent out your NFTs as well. So the mod that you're making, and if somebody wants to use that mod in God of War or Witcher, then you can ask them to sign a contract with you, and you will get a rent whenever it's being used. So that is one of other application that comes in. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is pretty amazing. The concept is just crazy. It's just that someone has to implement it and show how it's done. Someone like Apple or Google, something like that.
or like us,
Or like us, yeah.
Faizan and Carlos,
Yeah.
stay tuned. We're going for it. Well, then, it's been a real pleasure having you on, Faizan. I think that myself and the audience have learned a lot here in this session. We're certainly looking forward to the next steps that you'll be taking in your company. We wish you the best of luck. And
Thanks.
just before we go, could you tell the audience where they can follow you and learn more about yourself and your project?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we are on Twitter. Our handle is MISSTs NFTs. You just type MISSTs NFTs. You will come over there. And I guess, Carlos, I can share with you as well. You can also put that link in. They can just join that link in. And from there, there's a Linktree link on that bio. From there, you can go onto our white paper, our Discord channel, or sorry, our Discord server, our website. You can browse through all the links and you can learn all about it. And yeah, I would love to all of you join. I would love all of you Solana people to join in. It's a Solana project, to join in, and hoping that we can offer you something new, something fresh on the blockchain that no one has offered. And yeah, I mean, please join in. And I am very active over there. My mods are very active. So if you have any questions, just pop in, ask about it, and we are very responsive and we'll be answering you. So yeah, looking forward to all of you joining my server.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, we'll be linking all of that below, and you can also remember to follow DEGA and DEGA Spaces to stay tuned for more episodes. We'll probably be reaching out to Faison after the release to see how everything went after, let's say, the party got started, right? So, thank you everybody, and have a great day.
Bye, guys.